gamers, I hope you're all doing great. It's time to look on what's coming out on Wii U, as well as my quick impressions on Twilight Princess HD. Yeah, I didn't pronounce the H in HD this time. Hey, I'm improving here, alright? So of course, we're all anticipating the reveal of the Nintendo NX fairly soon, especially with the abundance of rumors suggesting it will release a lot earlier than we think. But I gotta say, the Wii U is not finished. And if the NX actually comes out by the end of this year, I would proudly say that the Wii U is going out with a bang. Here's my list of upcoming exclusive Wii U games I'm personally looking forward to playing. But first, let's quickly talk about a game that just recently came out. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD got a neat remaster. Everything in the game is so much clearer than the original thanks to the improved textures and high definition overall. The game received some neat additions to the gameplay too, such as simply touching an icon on the gamepad to turn into a wolf instead of speaking to Midna every time, and the Ghost Lantern item, which greatly improves searches for the Poe-souls. I've said it already in a previous video, but Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game. So how could I even think of skipping the HD one? That being said, the original art style of Twilight Princess didn't stand the test of time nearly as well as Wind Waker. So unless Twilight Princess had a full remake improving the polygon count and stuff, Wind Waker HD remains the king of graphics when it comes to Zelda games, at least to me, and that is until Zelda Wii U comes out. Still, I own the game now, and yes, the visuals are a lot better. Just not the Wii U tech demo we originally were all hoping for. Pokken Tournament is next, and I pre-ordered my copy shortly after the announcement of a single-player mode. Now, Pokken is definitely a game I want to play. We all know how local multiplayer works in this game, right? Thanks to the new camera mechanic letting the player switch from a 2D perspective to a 3D perspective at will, the game doesn't support 2 players on one screen. Split screen would have been perfect, but what can you do? Instead, the game supports one player on the TV and the other on the gamepad, which means one of us will be the unlucky one playing on a small screen. So the inclusion of the new single battle mode has me hyped. That way I can have some fun regardless if I got a friend over or not. I do know that Pokken Tournament supports online as well as LAN support, which is really cool. You know, the LAN support is probably what's going to allow this game to be competitive in tournaments. By each person using their own TV and Wii U, the game will run at a butter-smooth 60 frames per second. It's been forever that fans were requesting a Pokemon fighting game, and it's happening. Visually, the game looks stunning, and man, it looks fun. Before I talk about the next game, I just want to add that there are 3 Pokemon games on a home console that I would drool over their announcements. Especially the third one. Of course, none of them are officially in development yet. The first is a sequel to Pokemon Snap. The second is Pokemon Stadium 3, including the gym battles, the mini games, and even the ability to play the latest handheld Pokemon game on the big screen. And the third is a full RPG Pokemon game that would normally get made for a handheld, but instead for a console with console quality. I hope all this isn't too much of a wishful thinking. Oh my god, this game looks good! I never really criticized Star Fox Zero for its visuals, but I could definitely see improvements compared to the first time we saw the game. This is exactly what I want from a new Star Fox game. Sure, there is the whole 2-perspective thing going on with a TV and gamepad, but for now I'll give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt. Everything else I see about this game has me super excited. My reason may be contradictory to some, since what I love about it is that Star Fox Zero plays like Star Fox 64. I know some of you think it's probably too similar, but I've been waiting for a Star Fox game like this for so long. It's crazy. I mean, did you gamers see that overworld map with all the planets and alternate paths? Star Fox 64 is still one of my favorite games when it comes to replay value, and I couldn't be happier that the new installment is given a similar treatment. I also don't recall ever driving a helicopter or being able to turn into a walker inspired by Star Fox 2, so I think it's safe to say that Star Fox Zero will feature its own innovations and feel fresh. Oh, and what about Star Fox Guard? Yeah, I gotta file a copyright claim on that one. Just messing around, but who knows how good that Project Guard inspired game will be. I am looking forward to trying it out, but Star Fox Zero is where my true hype stands. I know that some of the quotes in Star Fox Zero are nostalgic throwbacks, but I'm expecting new quotes that will become nostalgic as time goes by. I love how they modified Wolf's quote during his battle with Star Fox from his infamous "You're good, but I'm better" to the newly "You're good, but not good enough." I was pretty excited for Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, or Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. Yeah, that's right, I was pretty excited. Even if the game played nothing like Fire Emblem, I loved how creative this crossover was, and how the Wii U was getting its own Persona-like game. But during the Nintendo Direct that aired on March 3rd of this year, they announced that the game won't even be voiced in English. I'm not afraid to be honest here, I think that was a huge mistake. It's very clear that this game would be a hit in Japan, but when it came to other countries or continents, especially those with large demographics where games sell well, like North America and Europe, things didn't look too promising thanks to the niche genre. Well, now that the game is only voiced in Japanese, I really don't think this game will sell very well outside of Japan. The game looks interesting and quite fun. I personally would love to give it a shot. But even myself now has doubts on purchasing this game. I already pre-ordered it years ago at 30% off its retail price thanks to an E3 deal I got from Best Buy during E3 week. Amazon did the same. I did not cancel my copy just yet, but I would lie if I said I wasn't thinking about it. I did enjoy Project Cross Zone on 3DS, and that had a similar scenario, so who knows? I'm sure many of you are super happy that this game will be available with Japanese voices outside of Japan, and frankly, so am I. I always thought that any game that's developed in multiple languages should be released worldwide with all its languages. This crossover, however, isn't even made in any other language than Japanese. But at least the subtitles are not limited to Japanese, for those who don't mind not understanding the voices. That was my only real gripe, since outside of that, I think this game looks unique and quite fun. Paper Mario Color Splash. Yes! When I saw this game announced, I was on the edge of my seat. I said it before and I'll say it again. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is my favorite RPG game of all time, so you can just imagine how focused I was during its announcement. I love how they just threw that game out there with no big reveal or anything, just a mention of painting things and then bam, you see Paper Mario. Now I know what's on everybody's mind. Will this Paper Mario play like the first two games, or will Nintendo continue down the same path as Sticker Stars, which wasn't well received by most fans of the Paper Mario series, including myself? Well, I think the answer to this is neither. It's not the first time I give a shout out to the analysis experts, but GameXplain did make a fairly lengthy analysis video for Paper Mario Color Splash. I found it to be quite entertaining and informative, so look no further than the description down below for a link to that video. Now notice how cards are playing a big role this time around, and notice that when it's Mario's turn to attack an enemy, he looks at the cards he's holding in his hand, kinda like if he was playing a card game. This begs the question, can you build your own deck and attack that way? I've played Baiting Kaitos and Baiting Kaitos Origins in the past, and I really enjoyed how the battle system worked in those games. In Color Splash, you can't just pick any card either, as you'll have to pay attention to the amount of ink needed to use the cards. This would add a whole new level of strategy, and frankly, this sounds really fun. Even if the card's idea is very different from the first two Paper Mario games, it is still an idea I'm really intrigued about. My only hope would be if Nintendo finds a way to properly reward the player after taking part in battles. Gaining experience points would definitely be a way to do it, but if those don't exist, again, like sticker stars, then they really need to give us a good reason to battle enemies. Fun fact, I only battled about 25% of enemies in sticker stars outside of bosses, since that game just did not reward me enough for me to want to take part in battles. So Paper Mario Color Splash, please do not disappoint, because I'm really enjoying the concept right now. Anyone surprised to see Zelda NX on my list? Or is it Zelda Wii U? Or maybe both? This new Zelda game is supposedly one of Nintendo's highest budget games of all time, which makes sense considering the amount of years it's in development and the fact this is Zelda, and Zelda sells really well from Nintendo. I also heard rumors that the development team for this new Zelda game is the biggest team Nintendo ever gathered to make a game in the history of Nintendo games. But of course, this is just a rumor. What else needs to be said about this new Zelda game? I'm just patiently waiting for more info, but once I get it, presumably E3, I think it will be huge. I remember hearing Mr. Miyamoto once say that there should exist a Nintendo genre, since no matter what RPG, platformer, action-adventure, racing, fighting, or whatever genre that Nintendo makes, it feels drastically different compared to what everyone else makes. Why am I mentioning this? Because this new Zelda game is supposedly Nintendo's take on an open world game, and being Nintendo, I don't think the open world aspect will be presented similarly to Grand Theft Auto, The Witcher, The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, or any other open world games we get from other developers. Even if Mr. Aonuma said he's rethinking the conventions of Zelda with this new Zelda game, at heart I still think it will feel like a Zelda game, going through dungeons, collecting items, familiar melodies, as well as characters. My hopes are high with this one, as it is with many of you, I'm sure. Now all we need is for Nintendo to further whet our appetite with a full-blown trailer of some sort. E3 is just too far off. So there you have it. I contemplated in adding Pikmin 4 to my list, since it was confirmed that development on the game was close to the end by Mr. Miyamoto himself. But at this point, I'm not sure if it will be a Wii U game or be part of the NX launch window. I'd also be surprised if Nintendo isn't holding at least one more surprise for the Wii U this year before the NX is released. That is, if the NX is actually coming out this year. What a way to end a console's life with a bang. We're talking about the latest in the Zelda franchise, the long-awaited Pokemon fighting game with Pokken, the revival of Star Fox, the next iteration in Paper Mario, and more. The Wii U may not have been a commercial success, but as a Nintendo fan, I am not disappointed in the slightest. That is thanks to its brilliant software library and thanks to what's coming. The Wii U truly is the definition of a console that sacrifices quantity for quality. Who knows, the NX may be the best of both worlds, having everything that third parties have to offer, as well as the quality from Nintendo. I hope you enjoyed my video. Until next time. So take care, you Nintendo fans and all around gamers. Enjoy gaming. Guard out.